Hey, today we are talking about how teaching starts at home, why it starts at home. You're not alone. Um, I'm gonna give you 5 things to understand. I have my notes here, just because I need to write it out so that I don't, get sidetracked or anything. 5 things to understand about having your little ones at home with you, and things that you can work on with them, and how you just like, how do I say this? How do you, I want to say, survive the struggle? That's what comes to mind, but that's not necessarily um the correct words that I need to use. So just how to maintain with your little ones at home. So the first thing I want to talk about is so it's gonna be 5 things. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is developmental delays versus developmental disabilities. Those are two totally different things, two separate things. And sometimes we get those two confused. So developmental disability is something that lasts for a while, or is considered like lifelong. So a developmental delay is something that your kid can outgrow, overcome, and all of that. So usually when I'm giving you content ideas and things like that on my page, we're talking about developmental delays, not disabilities, because disabilities are something different. And that's something that you need to get medical help with, and therapists and things like that. So when I talk about things, I talk about developmental delays, and they aren't a bad thing. Like I said, it's something that your kid can outgrow, and it's something that can overcome. And that leads me into number two. It ain't your fault, mom. It's not your fault if your little one has a developmental delay. You can't help that. It's just the nature of the beast. Something happened, or something didn't happen, and it's just the way God made us. Um, so like Nyla, we did speech therapy when she was about 4.5, I believe. Yes. So we did speech therapy when she was about 4.5, because I know that she was stuttering, and that wasn't uncommon for me because my oldest stuttered. But he outgrew it quickly, and I know that she wasn't outgrowing it. Because around 4 was when they both started stuttering, but then she got to like 4.5, and she hadn't outgrown it yet. So we got her into speech therapy. It helped. She did speech therapy for a year, so she's kindergarten, and it helped her tremendously. And we still do some of the things that they did with speech therapy at home. It was nothing I was doing at home. It was nothing that her dad was doing. It was just her brain. For her, specifically, her brain was moving faster than her mouth. So she was saying things, it was coming out like discombobulated, screwed up, and things like that. And then now, she's 6, and I'm trying to see if it's something that we need to seek help for, or is it something that she's gonna outgrow. So right now we're at that point, because with speech therapy we had to slow her down, take a deep breath. It's okay to say your words, and now she doesn't even have to take a deep breath. She just says things. But one of the things that helped us was is number 3 is play. But before I get into that, right now she's going through this thing to where she had a big growth in her reading levels. Um, so she's reading like more advanced books. So her vocabulary pretty much developed, and her communication skills developed. Well, her vocabulary developed very fast over the last 2 months, and her communication and her way of communicating those words or things that she's learned is not coming out as well. So like she may say, instead of saying anger issues, she may say issue angers, like that. So I'm trying to see if that's something that she'll outgrow, and we work on that, and just see if that's something that she'll overcome. So it's not your fault, mom. It's not your fault. Look at me. It's not your fault. And I just want to let you all know that. Hi, Jess. So we're just talking about how it starts at home, how your little one can get help from you at home. And we're talking about the 5 things to help you understand your little one. So number 1 was that developmental delays are not the same as your developmental disabilities. Number two is it's not your fault if your child has a delay. And so now we're getting into number three, that my favorite, playing is learning. Playing is learning. Playing is learning. Say it with me. Playing is learning. So going back to my example with Nala having her speech therapy delays, one of the ways that we overcame that was when we played with Barbies, we talked, we conversated. We did a because I have a podcast, Let Kids Play podcast. So she wanted to be like mommy, had her own podcast. So guess what I did? I set her up. I gave her my microphone. And that was a way to help her communication and get the things out of her mind. So she's playing, pretending to be a podcaster while mommy is sitting back listening, and she's working on her speech delay. She's working on her communication and not being afraid to hold a microphone and speak, because I just got over that this year. And she's conquering those things at 6. So that's why playing is learning. Like, play is so important. And I want to clear the whole thing about it being like a trend. Play is not new. Play was discovered way back in like the 1850s. It's the US that is now just starting to like catch up, or trying to catch up with early childhood education, because back in the 1850s, the UK was figuring this out, and they're still doing it. It's still questioned as elementary for early childhood education. We, on the other hand, are and why enrollment in pre-K is low versus worried about the issue, like the teachers being overworked, daycare, not getting the resources that they need while trying to provide the for kids, and now we're charging the parents. The whole system is just like, and that's number 4. Like, as a country, we are behind as a whole. So this is behind. The government doesn't really, like, to me, they don't care about early childhood part, because there's no money, not for them. Like, they get money from the kids in elementary school because it's based on test scores, this, that, and the other, which is what it starts with you. So I remember, let me tell you all the story. So, well, let me tell you number 5, because number 5 is part of the story. So number 5 is, what can you do at home? So I remember when I was working, I only had one child. He was in daycare. I drop him, or my husband would drop him off at 8, 9 o'clock. I would pick him up between 4 and 6 p.m. I was in the Army, so it varied on what time I picked him up. I try my best not to pick him up at 6 p.m. Sometimes that happens, right? Like, so what I'll do is we would have our me times Mondays, so the night that we go out and we play and have dinner. Make we go to the park at least every day, at least 30 minutes, regardless of how tired I am. And then with me being in the Army, sometimes I will come home like at the conference call. So I will get off between 4 and 5, get home, try to figure out dinner with him, and then I get on a conference call at 6:30. So Wednesdays was his days to like kind of be independent, because mommy was on an hour, maybe 2 hour long conference call with these people I just seen at work since 6 o'clock this morning. So it was tough as a working mom. But that independent time, I had it set up to where he would not necessarily always watch TV, but he would have his little table, his little space where he could be independent and play independent, where he's still in the room with me, but he was included. So I'm on a conference call. He may get on his fake laptop, or he may pull out some Play-Doh or things like that, or he played with his trucks. Like, he learned everything through trucks because that's what he loves. So we do numbers with trucks. We do letters, colors, sorting, everything was with trucks. So when I became a mom of 2 was in 2017. So I had my daughter in January 2017. We moved to North Carolina in February 2017 because of my husband's job. In March, I was in the middle of trying to get myself together. In April, I got in the March, I was process. April, I officially got Army, and I had my 10-year reunion, which I planned while I was pregnant. So those first 5 months as a newly stay-at-home mom, newborn, 2 kids, new state, trying to figure myself out because I no longer work, and going back in front of my high school classmates from 10 years ago. So it was a lot. Postpartum was real. I don't even know if it was postpartum because it lasted so long. It was just a depressed state altogether. And it was a really, really dark, it was a dark moment. I don't want to get into the details of that because I don't want to bring that energy to you all. But this is where my framework was developed. So fast forward, I got a newborn at home. I got a 4-year-old at this time. We're in a new state. We're by ourselves. It's just me and my husband in North Carolina, no one else. And also I just came from taking care of my dad, who had a stroke, and he couldn't talk or walk or none of that stuff. So I'm still on telling that, helping him recover. So I said all that to say that my framework of play, it saved my life. Literally, it saved me as a mom. It helped. And that's where the play base came about. So our framework is play, and the P stands for purposeful play. So what does that mean? So a lot of people see, oh, they're playing with cars or trucks, or they're playing with Barbies. They're not learning. They are. So purposeful play would be, okay, how many cars do you have? Oh my God, what color are your cars? Can it go fast? Can it go slow? Oh my God, can you put all the red cars over here? Ooh, or they may even tell me like, oh mommy, I want to put all the blue cars over here, or the red cars over here. Or they may do like line them up, red, blue, green, this, like line them up like the rainbow. Like that is playing, that is learning, that's developing their vocabulary, because all in that little session of cars that I just talked about, they talked about math as far as the grouping, which is things that they need to know before they go to kindergarten. They sorted, they counted, they did the opposites, like fast and slow. So that's what purposeful play is. Making sure you identify how they're playing and letting them lead, and just using and identify, like, oh my God, it went fast and then slow. Like identifying that that's an opposite for them. So that's purposeful play. And the L is letting them lead. Like play based is truly letting the kids take the lead. So like for me, we did a ton of science when my oldest was 4. He's obviously 11 now. I'm 11 on Christmas. But we did a ton of science. Which is how I got into the back then in 2017, I'm just doing stuff that my kids are interested in. And then as I developed more and started learning more and reading more, I realized like, oh, okay, this is what we're doing. But yeah, so science, we did a lot of science experiments. We did a lot of slime making, a lot of Play-Doh. So like people are saying like, how do you allow slime? Listen, slime kept my baby occupied, my 4-year-old, for 45 minutes. So now that I have 3 kids, slime is definitely allowed in my house, and we just grab a little tray for them to use it. Play-Doh is the same thing. So I learned those things in 2017. Let them lead, follow the lead. Painting, they want to paint, let's get your little table, get your apron, and you just paint away. And then the next one is actively being engaged with your little ones. So you have to be active. Like they can sit in the room and play independent with you, but you also have to be that active mom or parent to engage with them. Like these kids are lacking engagement and attention, which leads to some of the communication issues. Not saying that always leads to that, but them making eye contact with people because they're not talking to you. You're looking down at your phone. So look up for your child when they're talking to you. Or if you're doing something in your phone that's important, working on something, maybe give me 1 second, you stay right, and then you put your phone down, and then you look at them, close that laptop, and look at them in their eyes. Open their eyes and see, hey, baby, my eyes are up here. That's communication. So work on that with your kids. And then the why, y'all might not like this, but the why is the yes environment. The yes environment is creating them a space, a corner, or somewhere in your room, in your house, for them to have their yes space. That's their safe space. So as much as we hear mom like 1,000 times a day, they also hear no like 1,000 times a day. So create that yes space for them to just freely be themselves. They can go grab something, not worry about you. Say, no, don't pull that out. No, don't make that mess. This and that. That's their zone to like just be completely free. And I'm not gonna lie to you, it get real crazy. It get real crazy. It get real crazy. But I also teach them to clean up their yes area and for them to also like take care of their stuff. So that's teaching them responsibility. That's letting them know that they have a safe space at home. And I know not all kids have that, which leads to the issues that the teacher have. They need a safe space at home to freely be themselves. Their room is cool, but you know you got to keep your room clean. But they truly need a safe space. So just to recap real quick, to let you all like as far as what we're doing. And lastly, after I playing work, make join my email list because I send my my moms on my email list every week. We talk. I reach out to them based on they have newborns and talk what should they do, how to maneuver through this. I'm the person behind my emails. I send my emails out. I respond emails. It's me, myself, and I here. Okay. So join my email list. YouTube, there's the thing I was telling you all about. Some is not your fault, mom. It's not your fault. 3, playing is learning. Always. 4 is the US is just behind, and that's just something we need to not necessarily accept, but that's something that we change at home because we don't have to, we're in the US, but we don't have to necessarily follow the trend of what everyone else is doing, what the government is doing with early childhood education. We can change that. And then 5 is things that you can do at home. Join my email list to help you with things that you can do at home. And then also we have our kits available. I can't leave this live without telling you all about our kits. So we have our Halloween kits available. We also have we have a lot coming. So we have our fall thankful kits coming. We have our mad scientists. Ooh, y'all gonna love that one. Our mad scientist kit coming. We have our Christmas kits coming as well. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna drop everything on one or if I'm gonna wait until October 15th to drop the November kits and then November 15th to drop the December kits. So you wanna let me know. I may just drop them all where you can pre-order and then we ship them out the first of each month. So let me know in the comments how you would want that to go, and I'll listen to your feedback. Until then, thank you all so much for joining me live. You are your child's first teacher. My shirt says teach them everything that you know. And I'm here. Like we're in this together. You're not alone. It's not your fault, girl, and it starts with you, but it's not your fault. But you can change it. It's one of those generational curses. So let's break this US curse of early childhood education. I'll talk to you later. Bye.